Hello and welcome to Beyond the Scale, Weight Loss and Wellness. I'm your host, Coach Monica. I'm joined today by Coach Darcy, and we are here to guide you through the ins and outs of a lifestyle that's transformed not just our lives, but the lives of countless women navigating the waves of perimenopause and menopause. Whether you're here to shed weight, understand your body better, or simply find a community that gets it, you're in the right place. So sit back and enjoy the next few minutes as we tackle the hot issues of today. Welcome to part 2 of our series on weight loss and relationships. We are taking you on a journey, a very authentic journey, a very scary journey for the two coaches here in the room, because we believe that in our coaching, if we are not authentic and if we don't talk about the hard things, then we are really gypping our clients of success and actually putting them into danger because of the emotional side of weight loss being so dangerous and so vulnerable. And we have seen wins and we've seen losses based on the very things that we're talking about. So Coach Darcy, welcome to the program. You are my amazing co-host, and we're going into some territory. We went there last week, and we're going into some territory that is kind of scary for us.
It is.
But honestly, if we don't talk about this, we are shortchanging our clients, and we're shortchanging people who are authentically wanting to lose weight and not understanding why they have ups and downs and why this diet hamster wheel is so strong in their lives and why we've failed in the past. And if we don't address these kinds of things, I believe that we're shortchanging them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So last session together, we talked about our side of what happened to our weight loss journey and our marriage. And that was a really scary topic. One that as I uploaded it to the podcast interwebs, I'm like, is this the right thing to do? Coach, is this the right thing? I sent you a copy of it. I'm like, Coach, talk me out of it. If this should not be posted, I would have still posted it because I believe in the necessity of that topic. Because it's exciting. It's exciting. And we have seen in our clients, we have seen downfalls of marriage and we have seen marriages restored. We have seen it all. But it's the clients and it's the people who accept it, embrace these changes that really truly not only survive this relationship in the marriage world, but thrive. And that's our goal, is for people not only to, lose weight. Yay, that's something exciting, but we require our clients to do the full body healing, body, mind, and spirit. And that is including relationships. And so today we're going to go on another journey that's almost just as vulnerable. And we're not going to tell you names, and names have been protected to protect the innocent in our stories. So the things that we talk about, may be generally talked about, but it's important that we do talk about these things because our clients are walking through this very thing. And sometimes they think something's wrong with them. Because natural things happen as we change our lifestyle, not only physically, but also what's on our plate, and our social lives also change. So we're going to jump into the deep end, this session, and we're going to talk about it all. How our lives changed on the social scale, how our relationships with our friends changed, how our relationships with business changed, how our relationships in our careers changed. I don't like to talk about skinny privilege, I think is what they're calling it now. But it is a thing. It is a thing that I can't look my client straight in the eye and say, you're going to be taken a whole lot differently in life, in society, as your body shape changes. Because not only does our body shape change, our mindset changes. So I think that is really, really important to talk about, is not, people get excited about the body changes. They get excited about the scale falling. But what they don't understand and what scares the living daylights out of them is what happens when my family and my friends are not supportive of me or are scared of me or are thinking, as we talked about in the marriage session, are you moving on without me? Kind of thing. Or if they are struggling in their own weight loss journey, there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of insecurities that come out that I think we need to be ready to talk about. And so that's what Coach and I are going to talk about today. So, Coach, when you started to change your life, when you started to change, and maybe even before the weight fell off, did you notice anything changing around you, whether it be family relationships, whether it be friendships, whether it be acquaintances? Because you also have a perspective of being on stage, right? And leading a
Yeah.
congregation in worship. And there could be some changes in that. And we're going to talk about good changes, right? We're going to talk about maybe some scary changes and maybe some negative changes as well. So, putting all that together, what was kind of the first thing that happened to you that you realized that it's not all fun and games when you're losing weight, when it comes to the relationships and people around you?
Uh, so for me, as I'm going back in time, because when I first started, it was during COVID.
Ah,
And so there was a lot of distancing with friendships to
mm-hmm,
begin with. Um, but some of those friendships never came back. You talked about how I was on stage in front of people and they thought that I was confident, but I was great at morphing
mm-hmm.
into wearing all different sorts of masks. Masks. Sorry, I'm going to emphasize that. And it was more so knowing that if I wore this mask and I was on stage, it was like an out of body experience. It was great that, yeah, it looks like I'm confident. I just knew I enjoyed singing, but in the end, I was very uncomfortable. You don't know how many times before church, I would be changing an outfit. I'd always be wearing black. Now I still wear black to this day because
I
that's a
love
good color,
black. I love it.
it's a good one to wear. Um, but people wouldn't have known because of that very reason. I guess you could call myself fake. I didn't
Mhm,
really know. I was also great at being a chameleon
mhm.
because I was, just with those masks, I was just able to adapt to whatever a
To your
situation,
jobs.
to my jobs,
Yeah.
but internally, I was so uncomfortable and so insecure and so prideful about myself that um it made me and it put me in a really dark space when I was
Mhm.
alone.
I
Um
compare that to the green room experience. I don't know. Do you have a green room at your church? Like, do you have
Kinda.
a place where you go? I remember the
Not
time
really
that
anymore.
I introduced Senator Rand Paul to the American Stadium in Texas. 30,000 people in there. And I had two experiences in that moment. I had the experience of getting in front of 30,000 people with a microphone with a job to do. My job was to rile that crowd up. My job was to get them excited about saving their country. I had a specific job on that stage and I knew how to do it. But what happened back in the green room was a whole different ballgame. What
Yeah.
happened in the green room was I was sitting on a chair and my belly fat was hanging over to my knees. And I'm thinking, I look disgusting. I'm feeling all of those things in the green room, but I was able, and I imagine you're able to do this when you go on stage. I was able to, and I'll never forget. Now, I had my family at home praying for me because I'd never spoken to an audience that big before. And so I remember sitting down as they're calling my name to come up and introduce him. I remember it was like I walked through a wall of water, and on the other side of that water, I was completely free and I was able to
Hmm.
do my thing on stage. and you can watch it on YouTube. It's absolutely. I look at that and I'm like, I don't know that woman who is up there, cheering our country on. I don't know that woman, but it was like I had two jobs. I had the real me in the green room, and then I had the me on the stage. And I
Hmm.
think that carries over into our regular lives as well.
Yeah,
And
it
you have an
does.
interesting perspective about COVID and about in general how that destroyed our country and why we have such a mental health problem now, because the exact same thing, the friends that we had going into COVID didn't come out of COVID with us. And so I think there
Right.
there could be a mixture of the COVID influence and the weight loss influence as well. But I've noticed on this side of things, or this side of COVID, um, I changed. So I may have left friends back in the past. I may have left the political scene, but when I went through the health change, my character changed as well. And I still am Monica, right? But I am not the same woman that I was before because of the internal battles that we experienced in the green room. My
Hmm.
life was a green room because I always felt the body fat. I always felt that I didn't belong. I always felt less than. I always felt like I wasn't good enough. And then I lost the weight. And I'm sorry to say that society does treat you different. When I walk into a room, they treat me different now than they did before. It doesn't make it right, but it's a reality. And I think it's one we have to grasp and understand how, number one, how can we change that? Because it's not right.
Hmm.
And number two, how do we react? So, what I've chosen to do is come out of myself because the green room still lives in me. It really does. I can still remember how I felt back then, and I can still remember everything I did to myself mentally. But I have chosen to not live there anymore. And I am more confident when I walk out into the community now. I'm more confident. I
I
am
think
able to
I think
go up to
you
somebody at church and say, I'm Monica,
yeah,
right?
I think you pinpointed the word of confidence that we didn't have, and that might be in your perspective, you know, the difference between the skinny privilege that we thought that there was,
Oh,
more
you
so
named
because
it.
we're
You named
walking.
it. That's what it's called. Yes.
Oh, because we are now, we have uncovered a whole bunch of layers of insecurity. And now we're able to walk around with confidence. And before we were letting that confidence block it. So we might have felt
Mm-hmm.
that way because all of those insecurities were up front and personal and in our face and just yelling at us.
Mm-hmm.
But now that, we are feeling better about ourselves, I feel like it might not necessarily be a legit feeling
Mm-hmm.
of, or a fact of skinny, what did I say?
Skinny privilege. Yeah.
Skinny privilege, but you just are able to walk in a room with confidence.
Yeah.
And so it might just, you know, a,
Natural.
yeah, it might just be natural. Like we've
Right.
never experienced that before because we've always
Mm-hmm.
been overweight, but
Mm-hmm.
or
So it's a
or
natural
not
consequence of
necessarily overweight, but just insecure. Because
insecure.
as
Yeah.
teenagers we were insecure
Right.
and we had a lot of fears. We still have
Right.
fears, but
Mm-hmm.
those are
Yeah.
made up.
And the bottom line is yes, I think we own some of that. I will own some of it. I will own a lot of that because,
Mhm.
you know, I don't know how to stop the insecurity of having a health problem like we did. However, on the other side of that is also a societal thing. It's also I have lost friends. The friends that I had going into my weight loss journey are not the friends that I had leaving it. And
Mhm.
sometimes that's good because sometimes we need to get rid of toxic people if they're toxic, and that's a good release. And sometimes it's very sad. And there can be several reasons for that. The first reason, I'm going to ask you what you think the reasons are, but I think sometimes the first reason of losing friendships when you go on a health journey is perhaps that your friends also struggle with weight, and it's a constant reminder that the need to change is there. And so frankly, I don't have a lot of people who want to go out to eat with me. My older friends. I don't have a lot of people who enjoy going out to eat with me because I feel, and whether this is implied, whether it's assumed, I don't know, but I feel like what's on my plate really does matter to those friends. And there's this unspoken anger maybe that is directed towards me or that I feel from people who don't want to change their life. And so I don't know if that and we're going into this interview with not knowing the answers, right? We're
Yeah.
just going
Yeah.
into this interview and talking about our experiences and not
Right.
necessarily having the answers. And maybe one of our audience members can give us the answers. Maybe there's a psychologist out there who can say, "Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. This is what the name of that is." Because we don't have
Hmm.
that. But there
Right.
are friends that
Well,
started my health journey that are not with me today.
right. And I'm in the same, and I'm just going back to when you started your
Mhm.
journey. And I think the pinpoint for me and why I was so negative towards you was because you had this positive energy that I was not ready for.
Mm,
And and I think that's what happened to the friends that I had to leave behind, and because they were not ready yet. They were not ready
mhm,
for this answer of health. Um, they I feel like the negative usually pull towards the negative, and the positive, pull towards the positive. And
yeah.
once you break that barrier of I'm done with being negative, I'm done with this heavy feeling of life, and this weight that I carry, and this lack of confidence, this fears. I'm done with all of that, and you break free through that.
Mhm,
And I saw for you personally, like I saw that um this wasn't a joke. Like this
mhm,
was literally how joyful you were after you had lost a bunch of weight. And even when it was just a small amount of weight, you were,
mhm.
so thrilled. And it comes to the point where some people just don't get on board until you've been living this lifestyle for a longer period of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I love
I
what you
think,
said about like seeks like, kind of like the magnetic pole.
hmm
That's why our groups are so successful. That is why, our one-on-one coaching, we have had a thriving weight loss coaching practice for 7 years. I think we're going on 7 years. Um, and we didn't bring in the group portion until about the last 2 years. And that has become one of the most successful things about our program. The one-on-one coaching is great. Some really hard sessions yesterday. I had to
yeah,
tell it how it was, but the group is so successful because like seeks like. And when somebody's struggling, those like people like go swarm them and say, "Oh no, no, this is what your mind is telling you, but this is what reality is." That's why group is so stinking important. They say if you want to be rich, hang with rich people. If you want to be skinny, hang with skinny people. If you want to be depressed, go find the depressed people. And that is
mhm,
so true. And
yeah,
that's why toxicity and negativity is so powerful in a weight loss journey. And
right.
so what you're saying is it wasn't the weight that was coming off of me that was a threat to you. It was the mindset kind
It
of.
was the mindset.
That's interesting.
And the fact that not only the mindset was really annoying, it was really joyful, which I wasn't. And it was something that was highly wanted for myself,
Mhm.
but I pushed it away because I already told myself, well, you're not ever going to have this. You don't have a
Mm.
purpose in life because this is all you are. And I set those standards for myself. But then
Mhm.
once I saw that was not facts, it was just lies I was
Mhm.
telling myself, I broke through that
Mhm.
and became joyful like you. And maybe that was the same case for me, is
And that
why
came before the weight came off.
it did. It
I can
did.
see it. Yeah.
Yeah. And, and again, with COVID happening like that, you never know. You just pull
Mhm.
away from the negative. It was obviously probably a great way to separate myself from
Mhm.
the things that I struggled with, like FOMO, like fear of
Mhm.
missing out of that group of people or
Yeah.
that person and their personality. Like I was afraid of what might happen if I was to become my own person and change the
Mm-hmm.
things that I liked, the things that I don't like, became confident in what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that stuff, like I had to be okay with laying it all down and
Mm-hmm.
saying, I don't need this. This is my in my junk closet now. And I know that, God will provide
Yeah.
somebody else in my life, like what we talked about in our marriage episode, like
Mm-hmm.
that brought me closer to my husband.
Yeah. Yeah.
They was able to open up a door to be able to
Mm-hmm.
say, hey, like this is the great bonding. You guys feel great. You can do activities together, like walking and doing, all the other things.
Mm-hmm.
And it just
Yeah.
brought us together. So that it was kind of God saying, hey, you have a permanent friend.
Right.
Don't forget about
Built-in
him.
friend. Got a
You have a
built-in
built-in
friend.
friend here. And then the other ones are just the ones that stuck around are so super
Mhm.
supportive. And that to me shows true friendship is when they
Yes.
stick around no matter what you're going through,
When they stick
whatever
around in the good
change.
times.
Yeah, and the
Isn't that
good times
funny?
and the bad times. Yeah.
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 We think it's when the friend sticks
So,
around for the bad times. Those are good friends. No, actually, it's when they stick around for the good times that they
yeah.
are and they don't feel jealousy and they don't feel that that pull. I posted something interesting on my Facebook group. By the way, if you have not, go follow Coach Darcy on Facebook. You can follow her personal account or you can follow her free group called Weight Loss. The Weight
No.
Loss Project, the Weight Loss
Yes.
Project. You can follow my group, the Addiction Recovery, Food Addiction Recovery, or my personal. You can follow me. That's a public page as well. But I posted something pretty controversial this week. I know that's shocking to you. Um,
What?
I know,
Never.
crazy, absolutely
Never.
crazy. Somebody asked me to get back involved in politics again today. And I'm like, oh, that woman was not a nice woman. So I like to be nice. I like to be
I
liked.
feel like you should challenge yourself to be a nice woman in politics.
A nice woman in
How's that?
politics.
Yeah.
I did just that very thing just happened. I just got
Oh,
off
okay.
the phone with Fox News and I did a beautiful interview on our new lieutenant governor. It was beautiful. I was very nice
Oh,
on that.
okay. See,
Um,
there's hope
there's hope.
in the
Yes,
politic world.
there is hope. I'm going to be a
If
nice
everybody was
politician.
kind. Yes.
Yes. So I posted something a little bit radical on our page, on my page. I don't post it on your page because you'd kill me.
hmm
But I
hmm
said, we cannot coach a person who comes to us that says, I've tried it all, everything doesn't work.
hmm
They could be sicker than a dog coming to us, desperate for change. But if they come to us and in that intake interview say, I've tried everything, it doesn't work, we can't do anything with them. They have
Yeah.
closed their minds to the point
Yes.
of, I've already done it. They've already set their mindset to, it's not going to work for me. We have zero to work with when a client comes to us with that. Now I am searching in that interview, I am searching for the slightest bit of hope, the slightest bit of maybe I can trust you. When they say that, maybe I can trust you, then I got something to work with. But we
Right.
really can't work. And yet those people are the ones who need coaching the most, you
hmm
know?
Yeah.
Truly.
So true.
It's about
How was
mindset.
that controversial? Did you have some people like backlash of that?
Well,
I'm
yeah,
curious.
because they people want me to be able to work with everyone, and I can't. There are people that
No, it's not.
I had to fire a client this week. I
Yeah.
can't work with everyone. If there is not a palette to work with, I can't. And
Yeah.
then that doesn't mean that they're not always going to be that way, and they may come back and say, "Okay, I'm ready." But until they're ready, I have a lot of people. Actually, this was controversial. I've had a lot of husbands message our account and say, "Please, can you help my wife?"
Oh, yeah.
Typically, when they message us, it's not what you think. It's not, I don't like my wife because she has a weight problem. It's, I want my wife back because I want her joy back.
hmm
Joy and the confidence is more attractive to a man than anything.
Right.
My husband never told me I was overweight, but he did know that I was depressed and he did know that my mental health was not good. So,
Right.
so in relationships, let me ask you this, Dars. I know you always get the deer in the headlights look when I say this. In relationships, is it possible to keep friends or Are there friends that you're just going to have to let go? Is it possible to fight for friendships that you have had what you thought for life, and it feels like they're something's not right? Is it possible to keep friendships, or did you have to come to the place where you're like, I'm okay if I let you go?
I think it's a happy medium. It can go both ways. And I'm going to say this, like, you can continue to be genuine. You can continue to, send messages to those friends that have, completely maybe fallen off the face of earth, because maybe they have fallen off the earth. Who
Mm-hmm.
knows?
Mm-hmm.
But you can continue to reach out to them with a positive vibe and positive energy and
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff. And if they continue to ignore you, then I think it's okay to close the book until they're ready to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Never close the book unless they're constantly we have clients that have people in their life that are wanting to sabotage their journey and purposely being mean and just uh negative all the time on purpose so they do not feel left behind.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can be a a great asset to the negative depressed world out there if we continue to stay focused on, like, well, if they don't want to be my friend, then I'm okay with that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't be okay with it. You can
Mm-hmm.
still reach out. You think you can
Right.
still try and put the effort into it, and you can be at peace with yourself because you have put the effort in.
Yeah.
You have done the things where you have reached out. You remember them on their birthdays.
Mm-hmm.
You still, you do all the things to just be present in their life still.
Mm-hmm.
But does that mean that you are going to go out to eat with them and be besties again? Maybe not.
Maybe not. Yeah.
But I think it's our job to not only do self growth personally,
Mm-hmm.
um, so that where we are feeling okay with life,
Mm-hmm.
feeling great with life, but also not being like high schoolers were like,
Yeah.
well, she said this. And
Right.
so no, I'm going to go take my toys and go somewhere else and find new friends.
Yeah, that still
Don't do that.
happens when we're in the 40s, right?
It
I
does.
see. I think too, one of the biggest struggles I have, and I don't know how to get this, I don't know how to get over this or how to change it. And maybe it's because we're in the coaching world, but I did sense this before. When I first started my health journey, people did care what was on my plate. And that's
Hmm.
something that really shocks a lot of our clients. That their family and friends care what they're eating. And so that's why we teach a concept of being a keto chameleon and being someone who can fit right into a party without that person even knowing what you're doing, and not cheating, not going off
Right.
plan and not cheating, but being a chameleon so that they don't so that they don't get thrown off track when grandma says, hey, I just made this apple pie for you and you're going to hurt my feelings. But it's
Mhm.
amazing um, how people really do care what's on your plate. And I have lost friendships, and I am not asked to go out to eat because my feelers say, well, it's because of what's on my plate. I feel that way, whether that's reality or not, I don't know.
Mhm.
But in our experience of coaching, it really is reality. People care what's
Yeah.
on your plate. Either they want to bring you down with them because they know that they're not eating healthy, and that they know that the stack of donuts on their plate makes them look like, oh my gosh, wow. And then they look at your plate and they see what's on your plate, and that reality is there. It is
It is.
unspoken, but it's there. And the other thing is,
Sometimes it is spoken.
sometimes it is spoken. Yeah.
Sometimes it is.
Yeah. Sometimes by the very
Yeah.
people who saved your life.
Yeah.
AKA my
Yep.
son. Mom, are you going to eat this way for the rest of your life? Absolutely, I am, son.
Mhm.
It's what changed my life. And so some people it's unintentional, some people it's intentional. Sabotage is real. And then on our level, we are coaches. And so it's like maybe that's why we're not asked to go out, because we're coaches. And, I really don't care what's on people's plate. I really
Mhm.
don't care. I don't care what my friends are eating, but it is an unspoken thing. And it
Yeah.
happens to our clients too. So it's not just because we're coaches,
Right.
people
And
care what's on their plate.
I think that it also comes down to the fact that we know we don't care what's on your plate, but we know the difference between somebody who is desperate and ready to change their mindset and have a lifestyle change versus somebody who keeps talking about it. And if you have those people that keep talking about it, you know that they're not ready and they're going to just do all those things that they need to, to live life and eat whatever they want. And
Mm-hmm.
that's fine. I'm still going to like you as a person. Like if you eat like that, if you are
Mm-hmm.
ready and you reach out to me and saying, "Hey, I really need your help. I'm ready to change this my lifestyle." Then I
Mm-hmm.
know that I can help them and that, you know,
Right.
their choices, it goes beyond that. Their choices
Right.
then, we can help them out with those choices. And but yeah, I've had
Yeah.
some people like come into a room and look at me as they're eating something or drinking even a diet soda, like they think that I'm judging them for this, and because they think that I don't
Mm-hmm.
consume a diet soda. I have some every now and again. I don't like the flavor
Mm-hmm.
anymore. I'm not judging you from that. So
And coach, try telling people you're on carnivore right now. Oh my word. That's even a deeper level
it
of
is.
woo.
That is. Yeah, I
I
don't
just
talk
advise
about it.
people, I advise people do not tell people what you're doing. You do
Mm-mm.
you and you don't apologize for it. Because at
Right.
the end of the day, what's going to happen is your body's going to change. Just the 15 days I've been on carnivore, I'm not even going to say that I'm going to stay this way for, I don't know what it looks like for me, but just these few days, my body has changed so much. My joints have changed that I don't even have to tell people what's going on. And they're like, what is going on? So I always tell our clients, your face is going to tell everything that needs to be told. We
Yes.
call it the keto glow. That's
Hmm.
that's a real thing. Like your
What's
skin
a
changes.
carnivore glow? What is
I
that?
don't know. I don't know, but I'm feeling it. Absolutely
Golden
feeling
like a
it.
lion.
I don't know what it is, but
I don't know.
the more you clean up your dietary intake, the more your face is going to change. The
Yeah.
more you go whole, you don't even have to do keto. The more you go whole foods. Let's say you just shopped on the outside of the grocery aisle. Your countenance will change. If you ban the inside of the grocery aisles, your countenance will change and your friends will be like, "What the heck are you doing?" Get rid of the processed foods. Your body and your mind and your spirit are going to change, period.
Yeah.
And we can't deny that. So
Right.
let it happen and just understand. I guess the point of this, and you can put another bow on this podcast, but the point of this is be okay with the people that start your health journey with you not being at the finish line with you. That's okay because there is a brand new line of people on the finish line cheering you on, and there's a whole new life waiting for you. And it's okay to leave people behind if you have to. If that's the way it happens, it's okay. You're not broken.
Yeah.
You're not weird.
Yeah. And I would just add, like, for me, I made room for personal growth. And it because things were so disconnected with who I was. I didn't I there was that was like the I don't even know. It was like a shy little mouse that had no strength, didn't know who she was, didn't have the confidence to back her up. So much pride, so much depression, all those things. But with this way of being able to be okay with not having the people at the finish line with you, knowing that there's going to be this barrier that's broken and that you are going to be unstoppable for what your personal goals are. And that's not a selfish thing because we need a lot more lights in this world to be able to have that energy, to be able to have, um, you know, the positivity to just spread because by golly, this world needs
We
that
need more light.
positivity,
Yeah.
need more light. And so I am done making excuses to prevent myself and from doing whatever God wants me to do. I'm done with being able to I mean, obviously it still creeps up because we've made a lot of neurotrans pathways. I don't even know if I said that. We've made some pathways in our brains that are so like negative, but breaking those pathways and putting new pathways in your brain for positive things. There's that's where you need to be.
Mhm.
So
It's
yes,
science. Yeah.
it's
Part of it's
science.
emotional, but part of it is science. Because when you
Yeah.
remove those chemicals that you've put in your body for so long that are absolutely creating addictive behavior and creating a dependency on these foods, when you remove that, your body changes. And
Hmm.
some people aren't prepared for it. And so sometimes we are growing because we're removing those chemicals and because the all of this is happening. Sometimes we're progressing and it's scary to our family and friends and they're thinking you're leaving us behind. And
Hmm.
when the fact of the matter is you're just detoxing, you are getting rid of those poisons and that is automatically changing your mindset. It's supplying you with the oxytocin, it's supplying you with the serotonin that you need, all of those hormones are aligning, the progesterone's coming back, all of those things are good. And sometimes that's threatening to people because they're
Yeah.
like, that's not who you were. You were a very angry person, Monica. Now you're not anymore. And so I'm not sure exactly how to handle that. And
Right.
so all of it's normal. Just know that you're not broken. This is part of the process. And we want you to embrace the process. And if you're going through this alone, join a group like ours. Join our support group every Monday because then you're realizing, oh, I'm not abnormal. I'm not broken. There's a group of people here that are my people, and that is how I'm going to continue to heal. So if that's you, please reach out to us. Go find us on Facebook. Go follow us. Go follow us on YouTube. You're obviously listening to our podcast, but go find us and connect with us. If you're an island, you're going to crumble. You will
Yeah.
crumble and you'll end up on that diet cycle again. We want you to go on the finish line because here's Coach Darcy and I at the end of the finish line saying, you did it. You have to be proud of yourself. Here is your new family. 9 times out of 10, your family is going to come with you. Your friends are
Hmm.
going to come with you. It's only the ones who were not true friends to begin with that you can leave behind with peace. Knowing you've done everything you can do, like Darcy said, knowing you've done everything you can, it's time to move on. So that's our show for today. We're gonna take another couple of sessions, and we're gonna be interviewing our husbands to complete this series. That's a little more scary to me. I like interviewing you, Darcy. I'm not sure about our husbands.
Mark will be fun.
He will be fun. Yes.
He's
So
got a
this
nice
is
podcast voice.
he does.
He
Yes.
d-
Yes. We just have to figure out the logistics on how we're going to do that. So
right.
we're so glad that you took time today. And we hope this has been of help. If you wouldn't mind, would you take a couple of seconds to leave a review on our podcast? That really, really helps us get our message out. And if this is something that has been near and dear to your heart, would you share this with your family and friends? We would love to spread the message of you're not broken. We'll see you next Tuesday. And we release a new podcast every Tuesday morning. So we will see you next Tuesday. And stay strong, guys. We love you so much.
Okay. Bye.